channel. My name is Shannon Nicole. I get into all things lifestyle while I'm navigating my 30s. If you're a returning friend, hey girl, hey. And if you're a new friend, hey girl. So it's been so long since I have done a sit down video for you guys, like at least 2 years. This is really crazy. Not too much of me, not too much. We're gonna get into it, but I'm super excited to get into sit down chit chat with you guys, just updating you guys about what's been going on behind the scenes of my content. As you guys can tell, I have a new setup behind me. I am in a different location from the last vlog or video that you guys have seen on this channel. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, as well as follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at @ShannonNicole. I will have my social media link below so you guys can follow me. But yeah, let's get into it. Make sure you guys get some a little drinky drink for the sit down chit chat, girl, because it's gonna be a little lengthy. I'm gonna try to keep it to like a 30-minute minimum for you guys, but I just want to be very succinct and kind of catch you guys up on like what's been going on with me. So I got my little Shanley cup here, so I'm gonna get a little drink of water before we start. I also just turned my fan off because I realized that could be distracting in the background as I am talking to you guys about what's been going on. So the purpose of this video, you guys, is I recently got back into my content creation. As you guys can see, if you guys have been subscribed to me for a while or have subscribed to me over the last couple of months, I have been posting a couple of vlogs for you guys. Make sure you guys go check my previous videos out, and also, you know, some of my previous videos from like the last couple of years. Like, I've talked about some of the topics that I'm going to talk about in this video over the last like couple of years as well. I'm talking about like 2020, 2021, 2022. I can be transparent and say there have been a lot of gaps, you know, with my personal life that I haven't really shared on camera for you guys, but I told myself in 2025 that I was going to be transparent. I was going to get back into content creation, and what better way to do that than to have a real one-on-one conversation with you guys about what's been really like going on with me. I did post on my Instagram and ask for some questions that I can add into this video for a Q&A. There will probably be two parts to this video. This video is going to be a background story to like what's been going on over the past 4 years of my life, and even recent. And I'm going to talk about the recent changes that have been going on in my life and my move that I just made. And I will probably make a part 2 about just career and, you know, specifics about why I kind of like got to this point in my life. So without further ado, girl, let's get into the tea. I know you guys have been wondering, because I've been really, you know, hush and quiet about what's been going on with me on a personal tip, but I am in a place in my life where I feel like there's no better time than now to just really talk about, you know, my trials and my testimonies, as well as just really go all in on my content creation as much as possible. I haven't been consistent. I think the last time I posted was sometime in like June for you guys. Right now, today it is September 30th, so the last day of September. I'm going to edit this and air this on October 1st so we can start fall on October 1st with a new video, a little, you know, she's back moment. So I think the best way to start this video off is going to be basically to give you guys a synopsis of where we left off in insert video here of one of my vlogs from like 2021. So let's do a who, what, where, when, why, and how do we get here. I am a content creator. I've always been a very creative person. This is just just a little like tidbit about me and my background as we follow along and go throughout the conversation. So I'm Shannon, and I got into content creation in 2017. I've been on this content creation journey for about almost 10 years. It'll be 10 years in 2027, so about 8 years, on and off and on, as my life has gone throughout several different moves across state, school, and career choices and changes. So yeah, I've always been a very artsy person. I have always been an artist and a creative, so I have a background in dance. I also went to school and studied photography, and I have a master's degree in fine arts and film. So the last time that I really was clocked in with you guys and was talking about my career and things like that was during my time at Howard University. HU, you know, I'm a proud alum of the Howard University, and that is where I received my master's degree of fine arts and film. To give you guys a little bit of background of how I got into film and just video production, media, and content creation, I took a course in my early undergrad days, like I think sophomore year. I took photography and I just loved it, and I was just like, how much can I learn about cameras and about videography, photography, whatever? And that led to taking video courses and learning how to edit using software systems like Final Cut Pro and Avid Premiere Pro, and teaching myself how to use those. And I said, I really like doing this, so like, why don't I get into content creation? I was starting my natural hair journey, and I was following a lot of YouTubers at the time. This is about 2013. And so I was just like, I want to do content creation. I think I could do it. I have a personality. When I was younger, I used to want to act, and so I was like, I don't know if I'll be an actress, but I think I can show my personality through content creation. Hence, graduating college and wanting to be in a communications program or a film program so that I can learn all the things about that goes into production of video production, film production, the insides and outs, the types of cameras, the type of lighting, the crew, like what do people do on set, and that, you know, sparked my interest into film. I ended up getting into the program at Howard, like I said, and I was intending there from 2018 to 2020. Then the pandemic hit, and I finished my degree in December of 2020. I was living in Chicago at the time. I was previously based in Washington, D.C. while I was finishing my program. I'm originally from, if I didn't mention, I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois. So, you know, shout out to everybody that's from Chicago, stand up. And I moved back to Chicago during the pandemic because, you know, most of us were living with family at the time. We didn't know what the world, how things were going in the world, what was gonna happen, and I felt the safest at home. Plus, Howard just really kicked us off campus, girl. They were like, we don't know what y'all gonna do. Most of the schools anyway had shut down on campus services, and so, you know, in-person courses. So I moved back to Chicago, and I finished out my master's degree, and I lived here for about a year and a half. This is where the video that I previously inserted, right about here, I was vlogging then. I'm living in Chicago, moved back. I had explained everything. I was vlogging. I had just finished my degree, and I was in the middle of a job search. So originally I wanted to go into Hollywood, so like work on television shows and movies and things like that as a crew member, either a production assistant, and I wanted to work my way up into being a showrunner and producer of shows. Now my background is in production, so like I am career-wise, I'm a producer by trade. So I produce short films, and with my degrees, I'm qualified to produce long form content and short form content. So like short films, web series, podcasts, you name it, as well as content creation. Obviously, I'm a content creator, and also films as well. Sorry, y'all, got a little hot. Let me get a water break for just a quiet little second. Little second. Where I'm filming it, it's fall, but it's not fall yet. It's like fake fall, but it's hot outside. It's like 80 degrees, so it's hot, and hence it's hot in here, and I just turned the fan off. This is about 2021. I was in the job search. Hollywood was not, they were not hiring. The film industry, the entertainment industry, they were not hiring any crew at all. You had to have already been working on a project or in the unions, and have already been working, girl. When I tell y'all, I was searching so diligently for a job in Hollywood as a production assistant. Nothing. And at the time, it was either like, you're gonna move to LA and thug it out, try to make things work in an apartment, try to get a part-time job. At the time, this is 2021, so like post-COVID, LA was still super expensive. Not at the rate that it is now. However, like a single young woman like myself, fresh out of school, not really having a solidified career, I didn't really have the monies coming in to move to LA. So I stayed in Chicago, networked around, and one of my good homegirls was like, why don't you try advertising? I was like, advertising? Like, I've heard of advertising. I know it's a decent, you know, career path or whatever. And so I was just like, well, maybe I'll try it. I ended up interviewing with 2 companies, and during graduation season, so like May 2021, I was out in Washington DC attending my graduation when I received my offer from one of the companies. I was really excited about it, and so along with the offer, they were asking new hires to relocate to the company headquarter base, hence Richmond, Virginia. So I accepted my offer May 2021. I started work June 2021. I was still living in Chicago, and I was apartment hunting to relocate to Richmond, Virginia. I moved to Richmond, Virginia around September 2021, and I lived there for the last 4 years. Woo. In that time period, a lot has happened. a lot has happened. Let me see how I can give y'all the tea without going overboard and making this like an hour video. I want this to be like a segue into what has Shan been doing, and how can we, you know, catch up with her in her life now. How can this be a seamless transition and make it make sense for like the content that I'm creating? So yeah, I was working at my company, a creative agency, for the last 4 years, and my role at that company at the time was a producer. So I was producing commercials, and creatively, I was a creative producer essentially, and I was producing commercials, short form content for TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram, and Facebook, Meta, across all different, you know, noteworthy brands. I'm not able to disclose the brands that I used to work for, but if you can imagine, I was basically essentially working for a company that created all of the commercials and advertisements for certain household brands that a lot of you all know. So I was doing that. I got promoted within my 2nd year at the company to associate producer, and yeah, I was working there. It was a very stressful job, if I can be honest. Advertising, especially when you're working at the bigger, you know, agencies or companies. This was corporate America, by the way. So I was working a creative role within corporate America. Something I had always strived for throughout like college. I always told myself that I was going to try corporate out, or try to get a corporate job. I think that as a millennial, I think that that was something that was always talked about growing up, and something that has always been a dream for, you know, young women like me in their early 30s. And so I kind of grew up the same way, and I told myself I'm gonna get a job in corporate, I'm gonna make a lot of money, and I'm gonna get married, I'm gonna have kids, I'm gonna have a house, I'm gonna be able to travel, all these you know, wonderful, fabulous things. Moved to Richmond. I was dealing with a lot, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. I want to make a part 2 about, you know, just what my corporate experience was without getting like super deep, to the point where like I can compromise, you know, IP. But essentially it was a big girl move. I was away from family. I didn't have anybody that I knew family-wise or friend-wise in Richmond. I was basically starting a new journey and chapter from scratch in a new city, new apartment, first ever grown apartment by myself, new company where I didn't really know anyone. And so I went through a lot of like growth, essentially, you know, and a lot of change. And just through that, to sum it all up, I essentially was in survival mode a lot of the time. A lot of the time I was in survival mode. I thought that I was going to be able to still create content while I was working. I was just like, I got this corporate girl job at a creative agency. Duh, like this is it. This is the pinnacle of like what I've been wanting. I'm a producer. That's what I studied in film school to do. Like, I'm good at it, like all these things. And y'all, I just, on top of the stress, I was super busy, to the point where like I used to get off of work and just only really have the energy to cook dinner, maybe go to the gym, do like a corporate, you know, outing or whatever, come home and go to sleep and get up and do it all the next day. So in a nutshell, like the last 4 years has been a blur, but a lot has happened. Like, we always talk about this shift where, you know, you always talk about like the late 20s to, you know, like turning 30 arc, where like life just whoops you. I think I experienced that fully well, and it was even more difficult just being in a city where like I didn't have a lot of friends. I was really only acquaintances with work acquaintances and things like that. And so yeah, then let's see, so I got promoted and I was still working at my company, and I did a lot of things at my company. Like, I served as the president of our employee research group, like the Black Employee Network. I did a lot of client-facing things. I did a lot of external things, you know, with the company, volunteer opportunities as well. And at the top of the year, 2025, this year, so around January, the best way I can say it was I started noticing that what the goals that I had for myself personally weren't continuing to align with my company and the growth trajectory that they had me on. And so I started having, you know, conversations with management about my future, you know, as a producer there in my career. And I realized at a certain point we were both going our separate ways. And so at the top of the year, I was laid off of my company, and I was still living in Richmond at the time. I still had my apartment there. All of my family was in Chicago, of course. And so yeah, I have been Funemployed for like the last 9 months, since January 2025. And around August, I made the decision. It was a tough decision, but I had to make the decision to move back to Chicago. So currently I'm in Chicago, Illinois. I am not formally in a position right now. However, I am on the job search, obviously. Like, I have been applying for jobs, interviewing, etc. since January. 9 long months of being Funemployed. As of right now, content creation is like my full-time thing. So like, I don't have any nothing super established. Like, I've been doing, you know, collabs here and there, but like as far as monetization or anything, we're not there yet. However, I am now a essentially freelance producer slash full-time content creator, and currently I just have free time to invest in my goals and my passions and my dreams with my content creation. And hopefully what that means for me is that I can get a little bit more creative, try different types of content, start posting on socials more. I would love some feedback from you guys to see, like, you know, what type of content do you guys like, because that will definitely help me figure out like the types of content moving forward that I'm gonna make and things like that. I moved back to Chicago around Labor Day weekend, so it will be almost a full month that I've been here. I haven't really been doing too much out here. I'm still getting acclimated. I haven't lived in Chicago since 2021, and that is also an adjustment for me, because before then I had moved to 3 different cities. I've lived in Nashville, Tennessee, Washington, D.C., and previously Richmond, Virginia, all for school and professional reasons. I was attending school in Nashville, I was attending school in DC, and I was just working my full-time corporate career in Richmond, Virginia. So I'm excited to be back in Chicago. Like I said, I don't really have any sorry y'all, I need my fan because it's so hot in here, y'all. I don't have anything really planned. I haven't been doing much but like reconnecting with family. Right now I am living with my parents, so I'm back at home. I've been reconnecting with friends and family, just, you know, dipping my toe in the water in the job market out here, seeing what's going on. I think I'm super excited to get connected with other content creators out here in Chicago, because that is something that is on the up and coming, and a lot of brands are coming to Chicago and doing activations and things like that. So I've only gone to like 1 networking event so far, but yeah, my move was definitely a lot. I would love to, in my part 2 at some point, touch base on like the unemployment process and just how that was for me, my severance and everything like that. That was an interesting process that, like, for one, I had never been laid off, you know, any job. So that was a first for me. It kind of worked out in the end, although it was very unfortunate. I did have a whole like identity crisis after being laid off from my company. Of course, I was, you know, struggling. I was, you know, living off of unemployment, or being funemployed, as they say. So yeah, and obviously right now I'm still unemployed, hence the reason why I had to make the decision to move back to Chicago. I just couldn't really afford to keep up the lifestyle that I had created in Richmond. Also, my company moved me out there, so you know, yeah, I couldn't really keep up with the lifestyle that I had created for myself out there. So I felt the best thing for me to do for me at the time was to move back with family, since I still have a home here, I still have space here, and my family is still here. I felt that was the best thing for me to do. So I am doing okay, y'all. This is the first time I picked up the camera in a while. I did shoot some content during my birthday that I didn't end up editing. It was just very spotty. Or, you know, I was also kind of very lit, so like that didn't really the math wasn't math in terms of having like full clips to make it a cohesive vlog. But I'm hoping to pick the camera back up for you guys and just have the motivation to, get back on camera and talk to you guys and vlog and things like that. Obviously, being back home is an adjustment. I don't have the type of aesthetic and space that I had in Richmond, Virginia in my previous videos to just kind of show you guys a whole, like, get ready with me, or just like my outfit of the day and things like that. So I'm gonna try to make it work here. That's also another reason why there are a lot of gaps in my content creation, because when I was living in Chicago, filming in my room just wasn't conducive at a certain point in time for me, and it was difficult to pick the camera up and kind of like strategize logistically, like a area in my house to film for you guys. So I kind of got a little discouraged about that, and I was just like, well, when I move, I'll be able to have an apartment, or I'll be in a dorm, or I'll be in a different environment where I can actually film. So now I'm gonna try to now that I'm back home and I do have a little bit more expertise now in the content creation and production arena professionally, I think I'm going to just bite the bullet and go ahead and create despite the doubt. I don't know, despite the discouragement, despite everything that's kind of going on with me in my life right now. I think it's a amazing time for me to just really lean into my content creation. So in a nutshell, that has been everything that has been going on with me. There are some topics that I don't really necessarily want to get into, like dating and all the things, like my close girlfriends and family members. Like, of course, I've opened up about that to them. However, if you guys do want to know, yes, I was dating in Richmond. That relationship is transitioning out. What else? I'm still kind of in contact with people in Richmond. The move is fresh, so like I said, like I just moved. It'll be a month, October 2nd. So I'm still in communication with certain acquaintances out there. I did have to move a lot of things into storage. I actually did make a TikTok about my moving experience. I hope to post that tomorrow for you guys, as well as this video. So make sure you guys follow me on TikTok so you guys can see a little bit more insight into like how the moving process was for me and like how I was feeling at that point in time, and you guys can see firsthand everything that kind of went down with that. Yeah, so I moved some of my things from my 1-bedroom apartment into a storage unit. So at some point I will have to travel back to Richmond at some point to kind of go over the storage unit and see what I'm going to keep or etc. Yeah, I kind of operate in that way with all the different places that I lived. I think at 32 years old, I've been very fortunate to have lived in 3 different cities and states, Richmond being one of them. And I kind of, whenever I move, I just kind of treat those places as like an extension of me and my like home away from home. So like Richmond has become an additional home, and is in the list of homes like Nashville for me, DC for me, and now Richmond. So I don't think that my ties to Richmond is like have been fully cut. Of course, like I said, I still have a storage unit there, as well as like people that are still out there that I know. But yeah, that is basically what has been happening with me, essentially, in a nutshell. A lot of you guys didn't reach out with any questions, so I was just like, let me just get an intro video to you guys so that I can kind of like catch you guys up on like what's been going on, because I felt like it would be like very choppy to just like pick up the camera and like vlog and not give a full explanation. Not that I have to give an explanation to you guys. However, if you guys have been following me for a long time, you guys know every now and again when I feel like I need to do a life update, or like I've moved moved, you know, somewhere, or life has, you know, kind of changed, like I will normally do a life update. There are at least 2 life updates on my channel, and this will make a 3rd. So this is something that, you know, is not new. This is something that I normally do every couple of years to kind of like give you guys, you know, and also throughout my vlogs. Like I talk here and there about like what's going on with me throughout my vlogs, but I wanted to give you guys a real sit down face-to-face update about what's been going on with me. Yeah, so I am hoping to pick the camera back up very soon. I just wanted to touch base with you guys and kind of give you guys an update. I hope this video made sense. I hope that it kind of answered some questions for you guys. I'm more than happy to do a follow-up video, because I think a follow-up video is necessary to just talk about why I essentially felt like I was growing apart from corporate, and that I felt like my goals were no longer aligning with my company at the time, and just my full experience in corporate, because I know there are a lot of Black women that are working in corporate or maybe have had the same experience as me. I have some thoughts, I have some experiences that I am privy to, or was privy to while I was working at that company, and I think it's necessary to have these conversations, you know, especially with Black women in corporate. This year alone, like 300,000 Black women have been laid off from their jobs and are unemployed, and to me that number is very scary. Me being included in the count, I never thought that I would be here. It has been a mental adjustment for me as well. I'm actively in therapy right now, and trying to make sense of how I feel having started my career, and it have been only, you know, 4 years worth of career, where I thought that I would be, you know, in my career for a long while, and have been able to establish myself a little bit more. Of course, it is difficult when you have plans for yourself and things don't go as planned, but you know, everything is according to God's plan. So I'm very grateful that I'm still here. I'm very grateful that I'm able to start over again. I'm also very grateful that I have the free time now to, or I wouldn't say free because my time is not free, but I have more intentional time to dedicate to my content creation. So I just wanted to update you guys on what's been going on with me before I start another vlog. I have some things coming up over the next like week or 2 that I think I want to bring my camera along with me and vlog. I just kind of had to get through the move. Also, I needed a couple weeks to myself to decompress, girl, because moving and it's just me across almost 1,000 miles across state across, you know, the country was a lot. Was a lot. So I just, yeah, I needed some time before I picked the camera back up. But now that we are in it, we in it, you know what I'm saying? We in it. So yeah, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to my channel. Make sure you guys check out all my previous videos leading up to now to kind of get more of a feel for me and my content. Like I said, my content will still be based on lifestyle, fashion, beauty as much as possible. Vlogs, I'm gonna probably be cranking out vlogs like once or twice a month, hopefully. I need to redo my content, you know, schedule and calendar. Of course, it's gonna look different now that I'm in a new location, and I am still maneuvering and trying to figure out what is going to work best for me and my schedule, my new schedule, now that I'm back home in a different city. So yeah, I still hope to be making videos though. That's one thing that I am committed to, and I'm going to try to stay more consistent. And I want y'all to hold me accountable, you know, like comment underneath, you know, be on my story like, Shan, you ain't post a vlog in a minute, like what's up with you? Like that helps. Comment below like if you would like to see more content from me, and just hold me accountable as well. Like I love to hear from you guys, and the support means a lot to me, especially all of my returning subscribers. I love y'all. Thank y'all for being there, tuning into my content, commenting, engaging with me. I appreciate it more than you guys know. I'm still trying to grow this channel off the ground. However, we will get there. We will get there. So next time I see you guys, I will probably be vlogging. I don't know when I'm going to, this video will be uploaded in the next day or two. I don't know when I'm gonna pick the camera up for my vlog, but I'll probably be posting a weekly vlog after this, as well as figuring out when I'm going to film and edit the part 2 to this video, my corporate experience. I might just do a Q&A on Instagram to see what you guys want to know about, like what my corporate experience has been. So like stay on the lookout for that on my Instagram. But yeah, I'm super excited to just, I don't know, let you guys in a little bit and like just, you know, and just kind of like connect the dots in this season in my life. There's a lot going on, and I promised myself that I would be just very transparent because, you know, who knows, like my journey and my story can be a testimony to someone else. It's definitely a testimony to myself, and I don't know, like my experience may help someone else in the long run. So thank you guys for sitting here and chatting with me. I hope to post another video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to my channel. I will see you in the next video. Bye.